welcome to Lessons Learned. This is Finish It Friday, where you see what I finished and what some of you have finished. So stick around for this little quilt show and a little update on where I am on my projects. Two things I did, well, two of the same thing that I did was some Harriet's Journey. I did not put the name on these, and I don't remember now, but they are some pieced blocks from the Harriet's Journey book. And two is better than none, right? So we got those finished. I also put the binding on the Scrappy Project #1 quilt, and I love the way it turned out with the scrappy binding. I hesitated to, hang this up somewhere for you to see the whole thing, because I know a lot of you have seen it a lot already, especially if you're on Facebook or any of the Pro-Stitcher Facebook groups. So I'm glad I chose that. I think it complements it very well instead of doing the blue square fabric. So I love this quilt. I know I've said it many times, but I really, really do. And did you ever get a look at the back? And then it also has some dragonflies in variegated thread for the stitching on it, for the quilting. So love this project, really enjoyed it. I would definitely do another one, maybe in another color. I know some of you have done some other colors in it, and it looks great no matter what, as long as it's a good contrast to all of your scraps. It makes a really, really cute quilt. Really, really like it. Another thing that I did was I finished and long-armed the Tranquility Lily block quilt, the Layer Cake Lily. That's a free pattern from Fat Quarter Shop if you're looking for it. I will put the pictures here of just pulling it off of the long arm. There's a full-length picture there pretty much. And then I'll also show you a close-up of the stitching as well. So that got finished this week. I don't have the binding on that yet, but it is completely off the long arm and is ready for the binding. I'm going to do a scrappy binding on it with the scraps from that Tranquility line. That's a Kim Deal line of fabric. I thought it was very, very pretty. Couldn't resist it last year and bought a Fat Quarter bundle. So I used all of the colors that were in it, and then I put a nice neutral border around it, and then I'm going to take all those scraps. Actually, I've already made the binding. I took all those scraps from those colors and made a scrappy binding. So I hope that frames it out nice. And now I can feel okay about starting another project, because I have the Sparrows quilt I want to start very soon. Very soon, like maybe today, I'll start some cutting on that. This right here, I should have given you a PSA before we started. Don't look at this too long, you may go blind. With the blocks that I have made, I don't quite have that color wash effect just yet. I definitely need some dark blues to put here before we get to these lighter teal ones. And so I need to get into my blue bag, don't I? And also red. So once I get into those bags and get those colors more over towards this corner, towards the dark ones, then we'll get a little bit of a color wash effect. This is the paint chip block, and that's our #2 project that we did in January. Our #2 scrap stash busting project. And we'll have more of those, so stick around for more of those. We've had 5 already, so there will be a #6 coming around soon. I might wait until the early, maybe the first Wednesday in March to do that next one. And I already have it all picked out and ready to go. So the rest of February here we'll be doing a variety of things. So just stay tuned on Wednesday for whatever may come up there that might interest you. So let's go on into your projects for this week that you finished and sent to me. I had a bunch, but as I said, I'm going to use 10 per week, 10 people. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Pat here. Pat says, I made 4 out of your 5 Scrap Wednesday quilts. Wow, good for you, Pat. Thanks for the great ideas, and they've been fun to do. Now to get busy and quilt them. This is Pat from Washington State. And you see that she has done a rendition of the number, was it number 4 or number 5? It was the table topper, wasn't it? So she has got a nice little blue and yellow themed project here with some light background with some of the same colors that's in her blue and yellow there. Very nice and very nicely coordinated. And yes, I know how you feel about getting things quilted up. Once you do a bunch of projects all in a row and they start stacking up, it gets a little nerve-wracking, doesn't it? It's like, I need to do some quilting now. Deborah finished a UFO. Look at this. This is pretty. She says, I just finished this UFO, started in late 2020. I finished the flimsy in 2021, but put it aside. Since I quilt my projects on my domestic machine, I was not sure about quilting. Finally decided to just do it. Fabric used is some primitive gatherings prints from that time and a template from Missouri Star. I live in Canada, so I decided to show you some snow as well. Thank you for your inspiring videos. Well, thank you, Deborah, for sending this in. You did a great job on your free motion quilting there inside the hexagons. You can see you've got a spiral design there. And yes, the snow is on in Canada. It should be this time of year, shouldn't it? Very nice quilt. I like it, and I love the inner border. The checkerboard style there with the great big stars. Looks great. Michelle has a couple of finishes here, and she has them auditioned on the back of a couch. So I'll show you one, and then I will show you the other. And then also she has the back of one of them on here. Let me read this and figure this out. It says, I kept forgetting to send these photos in. I'm currently binding 6 more. So I'll try to send those photos as I finish them. Thanks for all the fun videos. She says the blue and cream is the Simply Jelly Roll sampler Pat Sloan did last year from the Simply Jelly Roll book from Fat Quarter Shop. The teal quilt is the birthday cake pattern from the Fat Quarter Shop Perfect 10 book and has beautiful teal luxe cuddle minky on the back. This pattern is a go-to for me because it looks complex, but is super easy to cut and piece with no tricky points to match. Both have been gifted to my niece and sister-in-law. And then a note here, she says blocks along the top are 6-inch County Clare blocks from Bonnie Hunter's free 2024 Leader Ender pattern. That quilt is huge with something like 168 of these blocks plus sashing, and is currently with the Longarmer. Wow. Now the dark one with the lighter rose, we did that here too this past year, and I love yours with the dark background and the lighter fabrics for the blocks. And then the back there with the checkerboard going down the center. Perfect. And then the other one has more of a teal, I don't know if you'd call it the background, but the main part of the squares that you did on point have that nice aqua teal combination within it, along with some dark blues. That looks really nice. Very pretty. The next one I have is from Sun Painted Carol, and she says she was inspired by my No Buy January and decided to go through her fabrics. She had bought quite a few yards of a McKenna Ryan print years ago and finally decided to do something with it. And this throw that she has made here is 68 by 75 and says it reminds her of the galaxies. She said she had enough fabric to make another quilt for the back, and it's quilted in a loop-to-loop pattern. And it's also a donation quilt, and I hope it goes to a child who loves sci-fi. Yeah. She says, thank you for all your videos on scrap busting. They're keeping me inspired to use the fabrics I already have. Yes, that's the idea, isn't it? We love the fabrics we've picked up, so now it's time to use them. She said she might even go through a whole entire No Buy 2025. You can do it, Carol, if you really want to. So this is beautiful. It does remind me of something celestial or galaxial, however you want to say it there. That is really, really cool how the quarter circles come together and make those shadowy moon-like, planet-like figures. Great job. Virginia has just finished this quilt top. She's pretty new to quilting, she says. It's the first time she's made scrappy crisscross stars and square and a square blocks. And next up will be quilting and binding. And she loves the channel, the inspiration, and encouragement. Thank you, Virginia. Your quilt is very cute. Love all your stars. That's a good way, if you're new to quilting, to get some real good practice in, is to do an entire quilt made of the same block. And by the end, you will have that mastered. This is very cute. Very cute. I think you did a great job on it. Lorena has a baby boy quilt, and she said she started this wanting to use 2 leftover flying geese blocks and ad-libbed the rest of it. It was fun creating the plane in the middle and shortening the flying geese as I went to fit everything. I just made sure I trimmed the flying geese at the bottom, not at the points. I think it turned out cute and was fun to create. I enjoy your videos with a cup of coffee in the mornings and loves my quilty channel. I love having you, Lorena. And she says, thank you for sharing your adventures with us. That's the fun. That's the funnest part of it for me, is seeing what I can come up with and what it looks like when it's done. But I love your little boy quilt here with the oversized flying geese and then the airplane that you created in the center. Some little boy is going to love that. Lucy, she says, here's a picture of my beautiful quilt that I made following Darlene Michaud Block of the Month 2024 series. I'm very happy with the result. The quilt measures 54 by 70. Yes, I followed Darlene's tutorials that she had for each of her blocks, and I would have to say that this is the prettiest one that I have seen. I haven't seen a lot of people put this out, but yours turned out really good because your central squares there that are framed out really do float nicely on your scraps. You've chosen scraps that are kind of all in the lighter to medium tones, and then that way those frames just kind of pop off of it. So you did really good with your color coordination there. This looks really, really good. I love it. Susan has a January finish. Get it loaded here. We go. Here we go. This is a Villa Rosa Cathedral pattern, and it finishes at 56 by 72. The fabric is Iris and Ivy collection by Jan Patek for Moda. And Susan watches me on her lunch hours every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is a nice, easy pattern here, and nice line of fabric. At first I thought it was Anne of Green Gables. It is kind of the same coloring, but she said it was called Iris and Ivy. Very nice job, Susan. The next one is from Virginia. She says she's, and this is a different Virginia. She says, I'm enjoying watching your channel. Since you've been talking about pre-cut quilts that are good ones, I wanted to suggest Layer Cake Lattice with Pat Sloan's twist. It's a free pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. The twist is the half block drop in the setting that really takes the look of the quilt to the next level. I love your quilt there. That is a good idea. That would be a very nice one to do. Thanks for sharing your version of it. I believe she said it was called Layer Cake Lattice. Very nice. We'll have to try that one. And then one more. This is our 10th one. Let's see here. So our last and our 10th one is from Monica. She has an exploding heart that she did in red and pinks. We see this pattern around a lot. You can make it up in all sorts of different color combinations, even prints. I can see some of your reds and pinks are prints as well. And this was a bucket list project for her. The pattern, as I said, was Exploding Heart, and that's by Slice of Pie Quilts. She pulled 15 red and pink fat quarters, and the background came from a bolt of Kona white. And she, let's see, what did she say here? I zhuzhed up the back, inserting 2 rows of hearts. Oh yeah, there's the back. So she zhuzhed up the back and put some rows of hearts on it. So thank you, Monica from Magnolia, Texas, sharing your version of Exploding Heart. So that is all we have for this week. You all did a great job, and I encourage you all to continue working on your projects so you'll have something to show on Finish It Friday. You can send in your photos based on the submission requirements in the description box of every video that I put out. So check those first, and then we'll be able to use yours up on the big screen. Thank you so much for watching this week too, and we'll be back on Friday to again next week to see what else has evolved and come to fruition, if you will. But before that, we will also have our Monday quilt chat this coming Monday, and then another fun video on Wednesday. Have a great weekend, and be sure to sew a little bit every day if you can, and we'll see you soon. Bye.